Chapter 42. Joso and Jara in conversation. On joining her, Joso reaches out to her, saying, "Don't be cross with me, dearest Jara, for behold, I could not have known that you, as a child of hardly 15 years, possess greater wisdom than all the wise who had lived on the earth before us. But at the same time, I ask you to reveal a lot of your wisdom to me." Says Jara, "And you of yours, for you too know much that may still be strange to me." Says Joso, "Of that the chances are slim, because my wisdom vessel firstly seems very small, and secondly riddled with holes like a sieve. In short, not much is likely to exit me, primarily because the contents are limited. Wherefore let you commence. I am besides too embarrassed just now to seize something worthy of discussion. In the highest divine wisdom's presence, it is difficult for man to speak, but that much easier to listen and keep silent. But you, fairest Jara, possess a good bridge to divine wisdom. From this you can fetch whenever and whatever you will. Hence let you start, and as said, I shall listen." Says Jara, "But behold, esteemed Joso, this would hardly be appropriate, for a maiden must not be forward. You can indeed ask, and I shall answer, and when I ask, you too can answer." Says Joso, "It would be easy to ask, if one only knew what. In ignorant childhood the heart was full of all kinds of questions, of course. But after one has the answer within oneself already sevenfold, a new question is much harder than giving all sorts of answer. Hence I would rather you asked me anything, for you are much initiated and can ask much." Says Jara, "Well then, in my Lord's name, as you insist, I will put a question to you. And so tell me why God the Lord, as the highest love and wisdom, allows, and that in this our time, with reference to the so-called servants of God and privileged dispensers of the word God, to carry on as the most unscrupulous, wicked, arrogant and domineering people, devoid of all conscience, and that in the most shameless and usually clandestine fashion, unpunished. Why do they not fear God, whose might and glory they proclaim before all men, with the most dazzling ceremonial pomp and deafening tone? Behold, this is a question of grave import for our time." Says Joso, "Yes, this question is indeed of grave import, but no answer is to be found on my ground, and you shall therefore have to answer this yourself." Says Cyrenius, "But my dearest son Joso, surely you shall find something to say. Verily, your constant excuses are beginning to bore me. I know it well and have now seen how dearest Jara far excels you in wisdom. Yet you are not to my knowledge quite so empty that you should find no answer at all within yourself to such question. Say something therefore. If you err, well, then there are an adequate number of wise men at the table who can guide you onto the right path." Says Joso, "Dear esteemed father and commander, It is easy to command, but there is endless bitterness within obedience, especially when, as for myself now, to be obedient is not possible. Think of the great goodness, love, and unlimited wisdom of God on the one hand, and on the other, all the abominable deeds certain to be committed unpunished by the so-called servants of God upon mankind, at all hours of day and night. Hold these contrasting conditions up to your soul face, and you are certain to clearly perceive, as do I, that an adequate answer to such question is somewhat harder to formulate than adding up 3 and 3. Let someone else try it, and they shall realize that the question put by Jara is no simple issue. Says Cyrenius, Now, I can see that one has to command a high degree of wisdom to answer Jara's question, even partially. But it would certainly please me to receive some adequate light on the matter. For I have given this point much of my thought, yet never found an even half adequate reason for it. I think that if none other than our most beloved Lord and Master, and our fairest Jara, proves able to answer the question, then we shall all turn to you, O Lord and Master. You are certain to uncover the right reason for us, as you also promised to do, if my memory does not deceive me. Say I, quite so, should Jara not be able to find her way. But I think that if she is diligent, she shall hit the nail on the head with the first blow. Try it, dearest Jara, and prove that I did not start up a little garden for you at Nazareth for nothing.